Welcome to Artificial Idiocy. In this episode, Atobe-sama and Iquanstein are, well, it is mostly on localization and our thoughts on that, but it started out with other topics as well. So you would see other topics in this. So it's an interesting conversation that I thought to put up, So here's another episode of Artificial Idiocy. I hope you guys enjoy.
Like, I don't care. All these things getting delayed. Well, guess what? Are we hearing anything about delays for handheld titles? It's like, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is something I didn't think about.
Right. There have been so many.
Well, in fact, new handheld games are just being announced. Like, Valkyrie Chronicles for PSP was announced really recently, too. And that's coming out this holiday. Like, what the hell? That was fast.
As a PSP title, I see no reason they can't go and like get it localized and released here, because there's certainly plenty of PSP units sold to like make it worth it.
Oh, so is it only Japan release as of this moment?
Well, of course, the game was always Japan. I think even when we got it, it was still a whole it had been localized later. It came out here 6 months later.
It did?
Yeah, it was released. So we got it in November. It was out in Japan that March.
Oh, I had no idea. It only took them 6 months to localize that? That was fast.
Well, let's see. Well, March to, I guess, if it's March to November, it could be. Well, yeah, that's probably only 6 months working on it, because then you have all the switches and stuff. That's what it used to take Square to do the Final Fantasy game.
That's pretty fast localization.
And they were like the longest.
Yeah.
To deal with
No. Like level 5 is the longest in Atlas.
Level 5 is terrible. Professor Layton 2 is coming out now. That game was originally released in 2007.
Yeah. Oh god.
And I think the second one was end of 2007. And like, okay, 2 years later, thanks.
Seriously, like White Knight Chronicle.
Put it out.
Is it
get it
or story?
Before you make a sequel.
I guess they're just a small team that really caters to the Japanese audience so much, so
they do well with that. Yeah, White Knight, right. It's going to be...
That was delayed, like, how many times?
If it was released now, it would be a year after the Japan release. Now it's delayed again.
God. And then that's not the only games, like, that level 5 needs to localize.
I still wanna get like the story behind Demon Souls, and how they had an English version of it at the same time.
Yeah, you don't need to localize Demon Soul. I mean,
back in February, it never had to be localized. It already had an English version released in Korea and China. So why did they release it here?
Yeah, and since PS3 is import free, I mean, like, you could have just made it universal.
Certainly could have been. I played it because I'm like, well, I'm not going to have time these holidays, and like this is a game I could be picking up now and playing. So I go and order it off eBay. But actually, that should be a topic that like no one explores, because we don't really know anything about it. But we say, okay, in America, our topic is, or the big thing right now is, okay, everyone's trying to rush out all their games for the holidays, because that's how it's always worked. We always release all the games in November, and now that there's one so big, or we'll forget all the delays. That's the other thing. But it's the fact that everyone says it's always been like that here. It's always going to be, all the games are going to be centered around November, and I don't really care, because I'd rather the games be out, and then I'll spend the whole next year just getting and catching up on them. It's like, what does it matter? The games are out. I don't have to play them all at the same time. I'll buy them later. I'll buy them 6 months later. It'll be half price. Like, that's awesome.
Right.
But, yeah, then I'm thinking, so what do we know about how it is in other parts of the world? So many games, and everything that's released in Japan always seems to be, like, in the beginning of the year. Maybe some other random times. Like, do they not care as much about...
When is Dragon Quest released in Japan, usually?
Recently, I thought.
Do they usually release it in summer?
Let's look up some dates. Yeah, I thought it was in the summer. Let's see. Let's look up some of the old ones. No. There's way too many of them. Where would you go to look that up?
Wiki. July 11th.
Well, that's one thing. That's one way to do it, I guess. Yes, I thought July, right? Because it was just out this summer.
I don't know.
Oshizora no Mamoribito. Wow, did anyone know? Did anyone know there was a subtitle for that?
Nope. Oh yeah, there was. It's like what is it? Like the skies of freaking. It's
I'm thinking of how the best way to put this so it sounds coherent.
Well, no, let me
It looks like those like protected by the starry sky.
That's starry sky is in there. Yeah, that's the translation.
Protected people, and it's a relation
Protectors
to
of the starry sky. That's it.
What of the Valkyries?
No, protectors of the starry sky.
I don't know. That's what I said. Oh, protectors of. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I got it backwards.
I believe that's the official English title.
Certainly should be. Not that starry sky sounds so right, but.
I can't believe you like translated that so well.
Why? It's only two. It's 2 words.
I'm just saying.
Two
Good
words.
job,
I know. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna click on some other random Dragon Quest here. It's like here, Dragon Quest 5. Like, okay, well that never even. Which ones have we gotten in America anyway? It's like original release date for that March. It's like okay, Dragon Quest 4. November.
Type in Dragon Warrior because that's what it was known in America.
On NES, huh?
Yeah. June 12th, 1991 was Dragon Warrior 3.
5/27/1986, right in the middle of summer.
So I guess it's the summer that's like the big time for Japanese people.
Dragon Warriors. So there were four Dragon Warriors and then Dragon Quest. It's like how can there be so much?
Well, we were already at the 9th one came out.
There's as much as there is for like
Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's Square for you. But then, of course, this was all handled by the other side.
Yeah, it was mostly Enix. Before.
I guess that's why they were such good competitors. They both were putting out a ton of games.
They were both amazing companies competing against each other, making amazing stuff. And that was our conversation. And as I said in the beginning of the video, it was more of a conversation about a bunch of stuff rather than just an official talk about one topic. So, I mean, I hope it was interesting. Atobe-sama, after all, did get to show his Japanese translating skills there, so that was interesting. I do hope to make more official artificial idiocy videos in the future, but hope you guys enjoyed this one. There, guys.